Hello, and welcome to Nature Coast TV.
Well, welcome to this month's installment of Our Kids Today. I'm Rick Hess. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Pasco Kids First, and we're very blessed to be able to provide services in both Pasco and Hernando counties to help keep kids safe and strengthen families. And today, I have with me a good friend who is the program director for the Children's Advocacy Center here in Hernando County, Janine Hammett. Janine, welcome.
Great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And what Janine and I are going to be just chatting about here for the next few minutes is the issue of human trafficking, because for many people in both counties, both Pasco and Hernando, we think that maybe we're immune from the whole idea of human trafficking, and Janine's here to provide some background and some factual information and to explain that we in fact do have an issue with human trafficking that affects us right here in these two counties. So Janine, first of all, maybe just tell us a little bit about, I know this month is going to be Human Trafficking Month, where the spotlight's on that. So tell us a little bit about that and about the issue.
Okay. January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and actually January 11th is the National Human Trafficking Awareness Day that's been designated by the governor back in 2010. And we are trying to raise awareness in our county with respect to human trafficking, because I think a lot of people think it doesn't occur here.
Right.
And in fact it does.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
And so do you have some idea about, in terms of the numbers of people that are affected? Now, most people think about human trafficking. When they think about human trafficking, they think about the issue of sex trafficking, and we can talk a little bit later about how that's a broader issue, really. But in terms of the sex trafficking, I know that there are a number of different ideas about how many of those cases occur in Florida.
Yes, and as of last month, there were 263 cases of human sex trafficking. Mm-hmm. Commercial sex trafficking and also labor trafficking is another area of human trafficking that takes place. And there were 63 cases reported, mm-hmm. which labor trafficking is very underreported. So I'm sure those numbers are very low. Right.
And so labor trafficking would be like issues of kind of indentured servitude, or people that are working at below market rates or something like that?
Yes, exactly. Lower rates than normal, sometimes for no pay at all. And they're forced to work under those conditions.
And they're actually kind of enslaved almost.
Yes, yes. That's why they call human trafficking modern day slavery. You don't really think about it, but prostitution is also a form of slavery. There's really no difference between a pimp and a trafficker. They're the same thing.
Same thing.
They're the same thing.
And something that I've just become aware of over the last few months is that even in the adult entertainment industry, the young women who are providing that type of service oftentimes are trafficked as well.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true, and they can't seem to get out of that.
Let's talk just a little bit about how this all occurs and how sometimes people get lured into this. What are, with the Children's Advocacy Center, obviously you all are involved with kids and who may get victimized in this way. So how does that happen?
Oh gosh, one of the ways is through social media, their Facebook account, Instagram, Snapchat. Those are huge factors when traffickers are trying to lure children. So it's really important as parents that we stay in tune to our children's accounts and have their passwords, check their accounts, educate the children in terms of who they're accepting friend requests, because I know children just, especially teenagers, the more friends they have, the better. And they don't even have to know them, and they're just accepting, and they're letting these traffickers into their lives.
I know that's such a challenge for so many parents out there, because we as older folks maybe aren't quite as up to date with what goes on social media, and it seems like every time we turn around, there's a different social media channel that's sprung up that the kids have kind of migrated to. So it's a real challenge, but parents really have to be diligent about that, don't they?
They do, and you can research that on the internet. A lot of libraries hold seminars on social media accounts. You can also get some training from law enforcement agencies and the Children's Advocacy Center.
Right, exactly.
So, great place.
Another piece is we're going to be putting up the number for the national hotline from the Polaris Project. That is a reporting hotline where people can make a report if they see some suspicious behavior. And of course, our local law enforcement is also very engaged in this issue and very well aware of it as well.
Yes, in Hernando County, we have our local Tri-County Human Trafficking Response Team, which is led by our local special agent here at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and we also have designated detectives at the Hernando County Sheriff's Office and Brooksville Police Department who are part of that team as well.
Very good. So that Tri-County team encompasses Citrus, Hernando, and Sumter?
Yes, that's correct. And the Children's Advocacy is involved as a member of that team in terms of coordinating victim services for children and adult human trafficking victims. And we're able, and victim services is key when you rescue a human trafficking victim. And I think in our county and many other counties, you don't really hear about all the cases that go on because the law enforcement and the arrest process takes so much longer from the time you rescue a victim. And so the key is to get that victim linked to as many services and safe places to keep them away from the trafficker so that they don't return back to that lifestyle, and also help them heal and get them the medical attention they need, any testing, therapy, all those so that they can turn their back on that lifestyle and heal.
Part of the challenge, I think, sometimes is that those people who are trafficked don't always recognize themselves as victims.
That's very true. That's very true. And runaways are very susceptible to being trafficked.
Yes.
Yes, they're very vulnerable. And the age range that begins at actually is between 12 and 14.
So obviously this is an issue of real importance to our communities. One of the reasons that Janine is such a good friend is that while she's the program director of the Children's Advocacy Center here in Hernando, Pasco Kids First is responsible for doing those very same services in Pasco as a Children's Advocacy Center. So this area is really very fortunate to have two accredited children's advocacy centers in our two-county boundary here. So, so at any rate, you have our website up on the screen. That's PascoKidsFirst.org, and you can reach us through that for further information. And Janine, your website is
mfcs.us.com. The Children's Advocacy Center is a program of Mid-Florida Community Services, so you can find us under that website.
Well, we just thank you for looking in today and appreciate your being with us. And we'll see you again next month. Again, my name's Rick Hess. I'm the CEO of Pasco Kids First, and we're helping to keep kids safe and strengthen families. Thanks, and see you next month.